Hello, and welcome to Cocoy.ai. Today, I'm going to talk to you about finding joy beyond AI. I'll give you a quick update on all the AI things that have been going on that I find most exciting, and I will share a beautiful article that helped me through accepting how humanity is still more important through looking at my own children. I've been reconnecting with friends and enjoying the company of others, building new relationships and old, and having a really good time. I recently went skating with a couple of my skate camp friends. Hi, Stephanie and Tatiana, if you're watching this, we went to a skate park together, and it's been quite a long time since we've done that, and it was so much fun. We're going to go to Moxie Skate Camp this next April again. We also talked about how important it is to have a creative outlet instead of just being on the computer all day, every day, trying to grind and trying to get out something for some company that you either value or you care a lot about, but it isn't your life. And it causes a lot of stress when all you're doing is focused on that one thing and you're just chasing after that carrot all day. I think skating is a really good example of trying something new and always pushing. You're not in competition with anybody else but yourself. You're always trying to get a little bit better every time, or even just focusing on enjoying the moment and having fun and seeing how far you've gotten in this last time that you've put in so much effort into creating this new practice. I've also been doing origami of tessellations, not only with my kids, but also with my friends. Anyone that'll come over to my house, hey Jolene, will be able to have a taste of it. It's not forced. Just like skating, it's if you want to try something new, come on over and we can do something together. I think it's so much fun to share my hobby and things that bring me joy with everyone that's around. I've been spending some time teaching my daughter to read. She just cracks up at the funniest moments. And I've been sharing my American Girl doll books that I had growing up. I've never had the dolls, but I really enjoyed the Samantha and the Molly series, and I kept those. So we're currently reading the Samantha Parkington books, and she loves it. It's such a wonderful way to bring history and hopefully the start of wanting to understand how history was, or getting interested in a specific era and learning more about that era. I was able to connect with my grandfather who served in World War II in much more meaningful ways. It put a picture in the perspective of a little girl into what that world might have been like. And my grandmother lived in a Victorian style house in San Francisco. So it was interesting to go over to her house and see how might it have been in this time at the turn of the century for the Samantha doll. So I'm hoping that my daughter will also get this passion for history and learning about these specific eras. My Magenta roller skater series of books, I have been experimenting with different techniques. I've been drawing in Miro, which is a fun way of getting drawings made. It doesn't matter if I'm drawing in Procreate or on piece of paper. I feel like having that technique, it translates to all different kinds of media. I've also finished the first quarter for the Stanford Leads program. This, for me, was a huge achievement. It was so much work to go through and understand more about how companies are valued and how to form debate topics and bring logic into any discussion that I have. I had an amazing group, Team Grit, at the Stanford Leads program. I couldn't have asked for a better group of people to spend an entire quarter with. You guys are amazing. We made this video for our final CAT presentation, for our final debate, and I couldn't be more proud. I've also been advising for tech startups, everything from product vision to storytelling to brand and marketing. It's kind of an amazing use of all of the creative skills that I've gained throughout my career and leadership skills all put together to create something new. So I have to say there has been a huge amount of AI news and updates since my last video. I have been playing with and finding lots of things to be interested in. Krea, I think that's how you call it, krea.ai, has been so amazing. I mean, you can use colors and shapes to compose AI-generated images. You can make new generated AI images with those generated AI images, and you can change the intensity of how much that image affects the outcome image. You can upscale. Sometimes it's a little horrific, but sometimes it's pretty amazing. Like if you had some kind of a stylistic prompt of a specific style, you can see where it breaks down and where it becomes really kind of crazy, and you can find where it makes sense for you. I tried it to generate an image of magenta, as I always do with the roller skating, and it was pretty interesting. Like the blobs of color worked in a certain way. I think that it worked better from some of the other AI generated illustrations that I've already made and like brought into Krea. And then what was even more interesting is once you have these little characters, you can almost animate them in ways that are kind of amazing. You see all of these different drawings of your character moving around on the screen. And so it's kind of a pseudo animation. I think it's pretty fun. I tried it with the 3 main characters of my book, the little prince and princess. And it was so cool to see them animate on the screen, even though I'm like moving the characters on one side. I loved how almost real time you could see the animations coming to life. I think that's incredible, and just kind of a new way or a new form of animation that wasn't possible before. Trying it with multiple compositions, I think this is kind of like a really amazing rough draft, right? You can like move things around in order to see what kind of composition might work for your book or whatever you're building at the time. It was really fun, super easy, pretty amazing user experience. With a little planning, you could bring in multiple different characters and animate something pretty interesting. This next thing is something that I saw someone posted to Twitter. I think it was Carlos, hey, for this completely AI-generated news channel.
Thanks for watching the first ever look at Channel 1 News. So where do we go from here?
And I have to say, since the last time that I looked at these Uncanny Valley, like completely AI people with completely AI generated voices, it has gotten way better. I think that it's much more tolerable to listen to. It's definitely listenable, and it's somewhat watchable. I think there's still some weird glitchy problems with the facial movements and some of the repetitive hand movements, but it's getting amazingly better since I think probably a year ago is when I first saw like a completely AI generated person that you could feed a script to and you could have it say that script. This is much more watchable than that. I haven't even gotten a chance to talk about Google Gemini, the whole Ultra, Pro, Nano, different models. I think it's kind of hard for me to talk about when I can't actually play with the Ultra version, which is the one that I think is supposed to compete with ChatGPT 4, which has been out for like 9 months. So it's really hard for me to say whether or not it's better or worse because I can't even play with it. The new Bard seems to be a lot better. I like that it's connected to Google search things. So if you want to be able to get to a map That's one reason I would use Bard rather than the Bing integration with OpenAI, but I can't really talk about it. There's nothing to talk about. Custom GPTs, I have been using it as a little miniature assistant for particular tasks. One of the more fun ways I've used it personally is making my own personalized coach. So I've uploaded a bunch of data about myself, LinkedIn profile, YouTube channel blueprint, hobbies, interests, my portfolio, what I'm currently learning. And I ask it questions that I would ask a normal coach. You know, anything from what roles I might be interested in, what I might want to explore, what kind of skills I would need in order to do a specific role, and what kind of knowledge I might need for those roles. Am I qualified for X? I can use it to tell my hopes and fears, and it can give me feedback based off of all of the profile data that I've given it. And it's pretty good, and I can keep talking back and forth with it, and it doesn't care if I stop or if I continue a few days later. It's just there, and I think that's kind of nice to have. I've used it to give structured feedback and be more empathetic in my replies. It's still like an editing process. Just like this video, I will still use my human eyes to go through and look through that draft, but I do think it saves quite a lot of time. And now I have a specific custom GPT that can do just that. I use it for gated processes. Like I will give it a list of directions and to ask for feedback between each, such as like creating an outline all the way down to first draft of scripts for YouTube or for whatever I need. And it's an interactive process, and I can have it edit as we go along, and then it still remembers that whole conversation. And so I feel like that is a really good use for it. I've used it to help on structured brainstorms and both divergent and convergent conversations. So I have also played with this idea of making everything a game. Sometimes I tell it to answer in the form of a game because I have an attention span of a fly. I think that the gamification really helps to keep me engaged with my conversation with ChatGPT. So I suggest trying it. It does a fairly good job. Sometimes the games are more fun than others, but the creative part of asking it to do answers in a specific way can be a lot of fun. I read this article called "Is My Toddler a Stochastic Parrot?" from the New Yorker, and it's so beautiful. I feel like I should show you just a little bit here. That definitely mimicked my journey in this last year or so in AI. And I feel like it was so humanizing and so tangible to hear from someone that really went through a similar journey of these ups and downs of I love it, hate it, it's gonna take over the world, I'm so depressed, to it's definitely not taking over the world. It is something that is here to stay and we should be aware of it, but it is not something that takes away our humanity. Jobs, probably yes, but I think that there is so much value in humans and their ability to look at things in a different way, even looking at AI in a different way, that I'm actually pretty happy to try more new things and keep going. And so I feel a lot of gratitude to Bo for sharing this article with me, and also to the author Angie Wong. I applaud your work. It's the most beautiful use of illustration and storytelling for the web that I have seen. I loved it. So thank you very much for that. And I hope everyone will read that article. I'll link it again in the description. The kids are almost out of school for the winter break. We're going to prepare for our Christmas season and family activities. We're traveling. I hope everyone that's traveling has a safe trip and they're able to have a wonderful time with their friends and family in this season. And I encourage everyone to go out and tend to your relationship, prioritize that time with loved ones, and set intentions for this upcoming year. I am so grateful for all the viewers that have come and participated with me on this journey, and I hope that everyone is getting some amount of creative inspiration to try something new and try to see what AI can do in your life and see where it might go. I am so thankful that I have this ability to even create these videos. Cocoy AI is definitely something that is from my heart, and I believe that we have the ability to change the world, and I think creative people are the future. And so I hope that if you found this useful, you'll like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, I'm Tiffany. See you soon.